Howdy. So this year we bought two bushels of apples, which is a lot for us, but we ran out of canning apples that my wife uses for pies. So I also figured I would dehydrate some as well. So far I've canned 38 quarts and probably dehydrated about a half bushel, give or take. When I'm done dehydrating, I run them through my vacuum sealer, and that should keep them for a little while. Never tried to actually do long term as a relative term, but a long-term period on the dehydrated apples, so we'll see how this goes. But the canned apples, they last for years. Yeah, my wife would use 2 cans in a pie, and the syrup I made, that will just need to be thickened. So when she opens up the can, all she has to do is add some type of thickening agent, starch of some sort. Inside the can, it's not thick at all. It's just sugar, water, apple juice, nutmeg, cinnamon, and a little bit of lemon juice. Mix it all in for the syrup, and then when you open it up, add some starch, and it'll thicken up, and you have a good apple pie base. But right now, I'm working on slicing. These apples are a couple weeks old, but we keep them in the basement, and they're still holding good. They're not as firm as they were day one, but I think they'll still come out okay. Tomorrow morning I'll test them, and if these come out not crispy, then I will stop on the dehydrating. We got about a quarter, a half bushel left. This is my last tray. We also need to reduce the amount of meat in the freezer, so I'm going to be dehydrating jerky soon too, to get that freezer space back before hunting season. This one's got a couple soft spots. I cut those right off. Yeah, that's better. If you've never dehydrated apples, you need an apple dehydrator, or you can use your oven. I set our dehydrator to 135, and I let it run. It's 4 o'clock now. Before I get up, or before I leave for work, I'll take them out and seal them up. So that's 14 hours. We like them extra crispy. If you want a little chewier, after 4 to 6 hours, they're pretty chewy and not half bad. I figure if I'm trying to store them for a couple months, I should try to take as much of the water out of them before I bag them. One of the things I've found with running the bagger vacuum sealer is that I've had to reseal a couple of them because their sharp corners are piercing the bags. So it's a little bit of an added expense that I hadn't planned on. But yeah, it's all experimental. Yeah, fresh, they're good. I actually have a couple left over here. We usually fill up a little rubber container, like a little Rubbermaid. That's what we're working on. So. We dehydrate, canning apples and the eating apples. So the tart ones and the sweet ones. These are a bit sweeter. Can't remember which ones they are off the top of my head. They're not one of the more common ones, but they were a sweeter apple. We mix them in with the canning apples, which are tartar usually. They have a stronger taste. But when we're canning them, I'll mix them kind of in a 2-to-1 mix, so you get a little bit of everything. So to fill this up, there's 4 trays here, and it takes 8 apples for me to fill it up. 8 apples like the size I've been doing here. So these aren't quite as firm as day one, but they should still be fine. The test will be tomorrow morning. I've been doing this for a while, and when you can a lot of apples, you start to get a little sore sometimes. You don't really realize it. I'm working out all the time, but the muscle that I use to chop with doesn't get used very often. So I got a sore back a couple times by doing this. It seems weird, just standing still and moving your hands. But yeah, I've been canning things since I was a kid. You can thank my mom for that. She had a big garden when we moved to the country, and we started canning things like apples, peaches, pears, tomatoes, all kinds of stuff. So one of the things I keep going, I'm another one in the family that kind of does. Excuse me. So fill it up, and sometimes I overlap them a little bit. You shouldn't, but they shrink up so much that it doesn't matter too much. So now I have 4 trays full. I'll go toss it in the dehydrator. So once I have my 4 trays filled, bring them into my basement because I don't want to listen to this all night long. Our dehydrator is from Open Country Adventure Campwear. Food dehydrator and jerky maker. I set it for 350 degrees, put the top on, make sure it's all seated nice, and plug it in. There's no on-off switch, so plug it in, makes it go. And this will run, like I said, until about 6:30 tomorrow morning. I'll take it off. About 13 and a half hours, give or take. And just leave it here in the basement because if it's upstairs, you hear it all night long. It also throws quite a bit of humidity in the air, and I have a dehumidifier that runs down here anyways. So, yeah, that's it. Come back in the morning. So after 13 hours, this is what, 6 in the morning, this is what we got. What I'm looking for. Is nice and crispy. And these aren't as crispy as the other ones I've done in the past. I'm assuming it's because the apples are been around for a little while. Yeah, they're a little bit chewier than before. But let me see. little bit chewy, but still good. Put some of them in the plastic bin, and I'll put some of them in a bagger. Okay, so I'm ready to bag these up, and I have these Food Saver bags, and I accidentally got these pleated ones, so it actually opens up more. The drawback is I have to double seal the ends. So I don't really get regular ones, but once these cooled off a bit, actually they became crunchy. I didn't think about it when I was testing out that you need to wait for them to cool a little bit to test them out. So the hard part is getting everything in so you can get a seal. And go down to the bottom. And right up there. That's the top. Get back in the hole. There's a little ridge in the back here. The top of it has to go into. And just seal it up. Those are the apple pieces crunching. Seal. And now I'm just going to move it down a little bit, lock it, seal it again. Okay, try it one more time. And just like that, you have a package of apples ready for long-term storage. You know, like a good, relatively long-term. I'm figuring a couple months, give or take. So I'll update the blog and see how long, you know, as they've gone, these actually end up lasting. I had about 30 of these bags, and what I have to do is I leave this on top of all the bags, and I check it and tomorrow and then in a week, because sometimes these pierce through with the sharp edges, so I have to go double check that it hasn't pierced through. So that's it on apple dehydrating. I'm going to do a series on my apple canning next, or a video on my apple canning and the recipe and all that's involved, so look forward for that one. But until next time, thanks for watching.